Hey there, movie friends. Thanks again for joining us on another installment of What's Your Favorite Movie? The podcast where I have my friends come on and I ask them, hey, what's your favorite movie? Today, another one of my longtime friends. We've been buddies since high school, and we've actually kept in touch before the advent of social media. It's my good buddy, Matt. How you doing today, Matt?
I'm all right.
Excellent.
Happy to be in the studio.
Well, yes, thank you. In this palatial, wonderful, what's your favorite movie studio. Matt was one of the first people that reached out to me when the show debuted and was like, hey, awesome, glad you're doing a show again. When can I be on it? And here we are.
There you go. It sounds like episode 13 is when I'm 13th in line.
You were like fourth in line, but then
schedules.
You're a busy person. Actually, Matt owns a stage lighting business in Baltimore, which is impressive to me. You don't brag enough about it.
That's correct.
If I were you, I'd be having pictures on Facebook of all my lights that I own and everything and showing it off, but you're a humble gentleman.
I believe Facebook is just for runners and
people with kids.
And CrossFit and kids. Yes.
People with kids.
I don't run and I don't have kids, so Facebook is not friendly for me.
No, nothing to do for you. But Matt's stage lighting he's provided lights for ZZ Top, Huey Lewis, the Hillary Clinton campaign, a big list of clients. And you did lights for Hanson.
Yes.
Which you said were actually awesome.
People like to make jokes about Hanson.
Right.
Going like, oh, they did that song, Bop. That's how they say it. And they were really good. They played heavy at this mix festival. It was sort of like a cougar themed event. And yeah. And they were great. Like they caught me off guard, and they were fantastic.
And did they still do Bop?
They did, but their other songs they played, like it was a solid show. Like they were real. And
you have also a good Vanilla Ice story from your years of working.
I
in
do.
the lighting business.
He is one of the more colorful characters that I've worked with.
Vanilla colored.
Yeah. And this was at least 10 years ago. Vanilla Ice was on I believe it was a hardcore tour. I think his band is like hardcore.
Yeah.
And we were doing a small show at Dave & Buster's or something of that nature. And we didn't know what to expect. And we went into the room after eating lunch, and he was underneath the drum riser taking that part of the stage apart so we could make that smaller and move it somewhere else.
Right.
And then he did like the drum checks and the guitar checks and the bass checks. Like, he knows how to play all those instruments like competently, and he was really cool to interact with. And you generally don't interact with any musicians at that level at all. So he was totally cool, not the persona that's been portrayed on MTV as...
And he was like working on the stage and fixing stuff, and then
he
5 or 6 years later he's doing he does like the home improvement shows on.
Yeah, he is not afraid to get his hands dirty, was my impression of him, and he was totally cool. Did not have any arrogance to him like is portrayed on TV shows.
And give us your opinion on Vanilla Ice's movie Cool as Ice. Did you ever see that?
I think I missed that one. I'm sure it wasn't his idea. I'm sure it was management said, like, we should do this. We'll get paid. And then it didn't work out for anyone.
Or his appearance in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 singing Ninja Rap, which is a fantastic song. Please look that up on iTunes when you get a chance, folks.
Yeah, I obviously do not know the Vanilla Ice history.
Catalog. Yeah. Starts and ends with Ninja Rap in my book. So, Matt and I went to high school together back in the late 80s, early 90s, and got into... Did we get into trouble? We got into some trouble in high school.
We'll just say it this way, that you and I didn't graduate at the top of the class.
But we were near the bottom of the class.
We were closer to the bottom.
Actually,
yes.
One of my favorite stories of us in school is... in biology class.
Don't know where this is going.
Which, first of all, at least 50 of our stories are from biology class. But the teacher pulled you and I out in the hall, and she's like, you two should be taken out and shot. And we're like, what? And she's like, these are multiple choice questions, and you two are the only ones that answer true and false. because we didn't even read the test. We just went down and wrote TF, TF. We don't even know whatever. She was a little upset. That's the same teacher. I think somebody flicked a dissected starfish body part at somebody, and
I think
we threw the frog. We threw the frogs out the window, and the guard dog ate the formaldehyde dogs, and good times. The statute of limitations is passed on all that stuff. So
I believe I'm responsible for that starfish incident.
Probably, I don't remember exactly, but So, and then I also remember just introducing you to some movies in high school, because I just talk movies nonstop since I was a kid or whatever, and introducing you, like quoting the Pink Panther, and then I remember you and your girlfriend watching that, like on the weekend.
That is not my dog.
Right. Does your dog bite? No.
Ruff.
That is not. You said your dog did not bite. That is not my dog.
Yes.
Yeah. So I remember you showing that to your girlfriend, and she hated it because it's very slow 1960s movie, but
it's slow. Yes. It's slow humor.
And I think I introduced you to UHF at the time, back in the day.
Yes, Wheel of Fish.
Wheel of Fish, yes. Good
Weird
stuff.
Al.
Yep,
Yes.
Weird Al's
Weird
in
Al.
that, yeah.
That's his only movie?
Pretty much his only big
his only big movie. That's
only
a big
starry movie. He's in the Naked Gun movies and stuff like that. And then another great memory that I have from our high school days is your parents had a satellite dish, and not like a DirecTV satellite dish, like a NASA.
Yes.
Like how
Yes.
big would you say that thing? That's like several feet wide.
14 feet. 16
Huge,
feet.
real
Large,
old school
large.
satellite where you had to like use the like a dial thing to actually move the satellite, and I would just sit on your living room floor and play with that thing for hours. And you're like, "What the hell are you doing?" It's like, "I'm getting the feed of Mama's Family from New Orleans," or something stupid like that. And I had a tape of it for a long time too. I brought a tape over and recorded like me just playing on your satellite dish, and
it was the Wild West of cable TV.
Yes.
Back then.
And there was like something called like the Tuxedo Channel or something that showed dirty movies, and we could like tape the promos. I taped all the promos off of it. It was all clean, but look at this.
Tuxedo Channel. I don't remember the Tuxedo Channel. I would remember a detail like that. But
or
sounds legit.
I think there was another one called like American Triple
Yep,
Ecstasy
yeah.
or something like that.
That is true.
I've heard of it. I mean, I've heard of it. I've never seen it. And then also, do you remember, this is a deep cut in our high school memoirs, but do you remember freshman year, they had senior prank day at the end of the school year, and the seniors like trashed the school, like straight up vandalized the school.
I do remember
They went
that.
beyond just a prank, and
They let crabs
I think they kind of
dean's office. They put like live crabs.
There was a lot of animals involved. There was rabbit poop all over the place. They put rabbits in the kitchen, and then it was like unsanitary. Like the police were involved. It went like, but the bottom line is we were all ushered into the chapel of our school, which I think is the only time we ever went into the chapel.
It's a holy place.
Do you
for
remember
us.
this at all?
I do. I do remember that the staff was they were somber and serious,
Yeah.
like a big violation happened.
And no information was trickled down to us. But we all sat in the whole freshman and sophomore class, which is like 250, 300 kids at our smaller school. And we watched Teen Wolf and then most of Star Trek 4 because...
I don't remember that detail at all. I blocked that part out.
That's why I have the movie podcast, because I remember that. But it was just a weird day in our little high school lives, sitting in the chapel and watching Teen Wolf. Good times. So when you ask somebody what their favorite movie is, some people are like, "Oh, simple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5." Others take a while to get to it. Some are like, "I don't know if I have necessarily a 5, but here's some that I like." So, as Matt and I have been talking over the last week or two, I've compiled a list of movies that he has mentioned, as I've done in the past, of some of your favorites. And we'll talk about them. So get ready, folks. And first, would you say this is your favorite movie here? The first one on your list is Snatch from 2000.
Sure, we can say that. We can say that that's my favorite.
And on our last episode, our guest Sam, who also went to high school with us, talked about it in a little bit, but tell us about Snatch. Sell me on Snatch, Matt. Sell me.
What I like about the movie is that it's all characters. Like all the characters are larger than life. Most of them are gangsters. And Guy Ritchie, the guy who was married to Madonna.
Yes.
Was I don't keep,
was
okay. Sorry, I don't keep up.
Well, who wasn't? Who wasn't married to Madonna?
Right. It's not a Sean Penn movie. So he directs this movie brilliantly, I think, and it's written in such a fashion that there's humor throughout the movie. There's violence and gangster stuff and all these antics happening, but there is a storyline, front to back. It's ridiculous, and there's humor throughout, as I was mentioning.
Yes,
but
yes.
There's humor
and a story,
and yes, a story, which is good. There's a dog.
I watch a lot of a dog.
People like when there's an animal in something. The dog. He swallows a squeaky toy. He's pretty aggressive, so they do some physical humor with this dog. So whenever he bark, it would be like, right, like the whole time. So that plays throughout the movie.
When you say a dog swallowing a squeaky toy, now my interest is a little piqued. Maybe I will give this Snatch a try.
I mean, I don't know if you should watch the movie based on just that, but the characters are fantastic in this movie.
I would watch a movie just about a dog swallowing a squeaky toy. So
that's sort of in the subplot or the subplot, but it's a fantastic movie. Those that have seen it will, of course, agree with me.
Of course.
And another thing about the movie, Brad Pitt is in it as a gypsy, sort of. I don't know. It's an English gypsy, so I think they have different terms for it.
A fortune teller?
No, not
a soothsayer.
No, I don't. So he has an accent in the movie, and so if you watch the movie 3 times, you'll understand what he's saying. So the first time around, you won't understand much of anything Brad Pitt says in the entire movie. So on the 3rd time, you will. That's another little charming feature. So you have to watch it 3 times.
You have to watch it 3 times.
Yeah.
Last episode, Sam had this movie on his list, and he said he's seen it dozens of times and still doesn't know everything that he's saying. So maybe he needs to get together with you and watch it.
They could have a subtitled version. Maybe they do.
Well, you can put the captions on the DVD.
It's like in Train Spotting.
Right.
You've seen...
Yes, I've seen parts of Train Spotting.
So it's the same sort of thing where...
It's just hard for us as Americans to understand other languages, even if it's English, because they speak differently and they speak faster, and I'm sure some British people have trouble. Sure, why not, Ed?
Well, the British people, they're on their own now. They're independent.
They've exited. They Brit-texted it.
Yes.
Did you see Snatch in the theater?
No, I did not.
No, you discovered it on the...
I saw that on the DVD.
On the DVD.
Yes. I'm sure it was a rental of some kind.
Do you have a memory of the first time you went to the movies as a young child? You don't ever talk about your childhood very often, so not that you had a traumatic childhood or anything that I know of.
So let's talk about it on the air.
Right. Show me where he touched you, Matt.
I was touched in the heart
by Snatch.
Yes.
Let's let's move away from that.
Okay, movies. I remember seeing The Empire Strikes Back.
Awesome.
At Herondale
Movie
Theater.
Mall.
That was a mega complex that had 2 movie theaters. And now I believe it's a Baptist church.
Oh, the movie theater is. Okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
The movie theater is next door to the mall. It's across the street from the mall.
Which is now a strip mall,
right.
plaza sort of thing.
Herondale Mall was the first indoor mall in North America. Oh, on the East Coast at least. Right? And then there was that big box next to it that was a 2 or 3 screen theater.
2.
2. Maybe later 3, but it was 2. But we'll say
later it was a church. Maybe they have a viewing room there.
I think the only time I went to that theater, my mom took us to see Back to the Future there because my grandmother lived over in that neck of the woods. But fascinating stuff for everybody listening. So yeah, Back to the Future, or no, Empire Strikes Back to the Future. All right, let's move on. So then you also had on your list, which I would. Surprising, knowing you very well, A Christmas Story, because this is a quaint little touching film, and that's not necessarily your ball of tea. Usually it's quaint and touching.
well, actually, the book was better than the movie.
Uh-oh. Did you really read the book?
I don't think so.
No.
I just wanted to say that.
Actually, I have it. The book is called...
In God We Trust, All Others Pay Cash.
Very good, very good. Which is actually a collection of short stories that Gene Shepard wrote for Playboy magazine. which is interesting.
He's talking about getting paid both sides
there.
There
you go, yeah. So...
yeah, I like Christmas Story. I think at the time... I saw Christmas Story at Jumpers
Theater,
movies,
which we'll talk about in a minute, yeah.
I saw that one in the theater, and I tell people very proudly at Christmas time when that comes on, I'm like, I saw this in the theater, which is almost as good as saying, like, the book is better than the movie.
Yeah, because not many people... Because Christmas Story... Even though it did do well in the theater, it caught on many years later. It caught on on HBO and TV. It kind of became the cultural icon that it is today.
Is it AMC that plays it at Christmas time?
TBS.
TBS. I think TBS owns the rights to 2 movies. That's all. Just Christmas Story and Christmas Vacation. That's it. I think that's a solid plan. They should stick with that because it works and it's good. But
so do you watch it at least once a year at Christmas time when it's on? You're not a very Christmassy sentimental person.
Not necessarily at Christmas time, but I've watched it. I've watched it recently.
Excellent.
Like within the last month, just because. And it's very quotable, and I think it's universally liked because a lot of people can relate to the things that happen. It's school life and frustrations of school, basically.
It's supposed to kind of show how things were in the older days. I guess it's the 40s, like turn 39, 40, 1939, 1940 time period. It's supposed to show what Christmas might have been like at that point, but like you said, it's kind of universal. There's a lot of things in there that resonate with even kids today. Getting your tongue stuck on the flagpole, or
that still counts. Yes.
Do you know the guy that directed that, Bob Clark, made another big popular movie? Do you know what movie he also directed?
I do not. Like Jaws,
Porky's, which is a complete turnaround from A Christmas Story.
Well, in the movie business, you take whatever gig you can get.
Well, he did Porky's, and then that did so well, he could do whatever he wanted, and he wanted to do this nice, little, simple, quiet Christmas movie, so that was his payback for doing Porky's. You've seen Porky's, of course.
There's something with it. I don't remember it.
That was out a little early.
I know it's a classic.
Yeah, 1981. That was a little before our time. Like, by the time we were allowed to watch it, it was...
I've been in showers before, Isn't that
I was like, what are you talking about?
Movie?
Yes, yeah, they look through the
little
circle in
peephole
the shower
sort of
thing. Yes, it's true.
You get water in your eye doing that.
Did you ever see the follow-up to A Christmas Story, It Runs in the Family, from 1994? The look on your face suggests perhaps you did not know that existed. They were going to do a sequel like a year or two later with all the same cast, and then it got held up, and by the time they finally got around to making it 11 years later, of course, everybody is too old or dead or whatever. So
they're dead. That's it. They're dead.
So
maybe they got better jobs. Just spin this positive.
They recast it with different actors, and then it was originally going to be called My Summer Story, and then they just changed it to It Runs in the Family, so it had no connection with A Christmas Story because it can't hold up. But that didn't stop them another 10 years later, or even more than 10 years later, from trying A Christmas Story 2. Did you know that existed?
I did not.
Okay.
Is that...
It's a DVD movie piece of crap that no one, I think, has seen ever.
Wow. It's still happening now, though. I mean, they just put Ghostbusters back out.
Yes.
So, like, anything they can try to...
Milk.
Use some brand to, like, we can probably get more out of this.
Yep.
And I'm glad that some of the studios are flopping with some of the attempts they're making to exploit our wallets and take our money unfairly. That's what they get.
There's also, I mentioned this in the Laura episode number 11 of our podcast. We're just plugging all the old episodes here. But you can actually go to the house where the Christmas Story was filmed. It's in Cleveland, Ohio. I didn't have any of the info last time I talked about it, but I looked it up. It's in Cleveland, Ohio. Some dude bought the house when it was for sale, like a big fan of the movie, bought the house and then fixed it up to look exactly like it does in the movie. So you can...
Bet that's an interesting character. I'd like to meet that person.
Guy?
I'd like to have lunch with that guy. Be like, tell me.
Tell me.
Are you obsessive about things?
Right.
Like bought the house and fixed it like the
making
set?
some good money off of it. Yeah, he refurbished the outside, and then the interiors were actually shot in Toronto. But he made the inside of the house look like the inside of the house in the movie. Like renovated the whole inside, So there's props and costumes and memorabilia from the movie there.
Are the Bumpus Hounds next door? Because I'd like that.
The dogs.
Yeah.
They have the family car is there. You can see Randy's snowsuit and the chalkboard from Mrs. Shields' classroom.
A chalkboard.
Look at that, guys.
Where she writes, Mrs. Shields writes A plus plus plus
Right.
plus plus.
I bet that's on the chalkboard there, yeah.
And they lift Ralphie up, clapping.
So, I know you can buy the bunny jammies there. A buddy of mine went and visited and has a picture of himself at the top of the staircase with the bunny jammies on.
This sounds like a reason to travel to Cleveland.
Yeah, finally a reason to travel to Cleveland. It's where the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is, too, I believe.
And Drew Carey filmed
his show took place there, yeah.
I mean, there you go. That's all of my collective Cleveland
Let's
knowledge.
Go. Let's hop on your motorcycle and go today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mentioned that before and didn't have any of the info. So if you're interested in doing that, achristmasstoryhouse.com is where you can find all that info. Go and do it, yes.
All right.
I know you're looking forward to it. So we mentioned Jumper's Hole Theater, which is another theater that gets mentioned on this show all the time. And we tape the show in the Baltimore. First of all, we don't tape the show because it's not 1986.
No, we're all digital here in the studio.
It's digital. But I like to use old-fashioned terms. We record this in the Baltimore area, so you hear a lot about Baltimore area theaters on the show. A big one that has a big place in anyone's heart that grew up in the area is Jumper's Hole Theaters, I guess it was called, or whatever. But it's in Pasadena, Maryland, which is...
Cinema,
which is like 10, 15 minutes outside of Baltimore City, I guess. Pasadena area. That's where you grew up, right? Pasadena?
Severna Park.
I'm sorry.
Severna Park, Millersville, Pasadena area.
It's all good. But Jumper's Hole was right up the street from your house, right?
Yes, it is. That was my mall.
And the Jumper's Hole Mall, also, I forgot about that, because the mall's been gone a long time, but way before the theater was still there.
Correct.
It was an indoor mall.
It was an indoor mall, and then it turned into a...
Toys R Us is there.
Basically,
Kmart.
yeah. And now, yeah. The Kmart was always there. Classy.
Yes.
Classy. We kept it classy. Kmart's been there, and I think it's a Burlington Coat Factory is there
Probably.
now.
That sounds like something that would go into one of those.
The Taco Bell changed over to a Chick-fil-A. It's a Chick-fil-A with like that double drive-through thing.
Right.
So
this is all fascinating, isn't it, folks?
Yeah.
That Taco Bell right in front of Jumper's Hole Mall was the first time I'd ever been to a Taco Bell in high school. You took me there.
That was the first time I'd ever seen Taco Bell.
Yeah, there was not a lot of them back then.
Yeah.
So Jumper's Hole Mall opened in I did some research. There's not like a definitive place to go to find research on old crappy movie theaters, but Jumper's Hole Mall opened in 74, 75 with 3 screens. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
And then they quickly discovered that those theaters were too small, so they added 2 more, and then 2 more later, so eventually it was 7 screens. But the theaters were weird because they were like long. They weren't like boxes; they were like rectangles. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
so the screen was down here, and then you had and then there was just like tons and tons of rows of seats. So if you weren't,
they were deep. It was a deeper theater.
Yeah, if you didn't get down by near the front, it felt like you were just watching a big TV from the back. And then, of course, my favorite with a lot of these old, poorly designed theaters is somebody would open the door to the theater and the light from the concession area would completely flush out the screen for a second or two. And you could see the shadow of whoever was walking in.
It's good design there.
Yeah. So they built the screens 6 and 7 were built in 1984. I found that out through my research. Isn't that exciting?
That is.
And just in time to show Conan the Barbarian, Cannonball Run 2, and The Muppets Take Manhattan.
Well, those are some big movies.
Yeah. But the reason that this theater is talked about so much is because in the late 80s it became a second-run theater where they would show things after they were at the fancier theater. They would get the print, and then they would only charge at least $1 when we were in high school. It was $1 to get in.
$1.75, something like that.
Yeah, real dirt cheap. So
the popcorn cost more than the movie ticket.
That's true.
I think. But it was cool because it was
the
first time you could see like a movie that wasn't on cable.
Right, yeah, it was before cable, yeah. It was like right after it left whatever
wasn't on cable. You couldn't buy it or rent it on VHS tape. But for $2, it was cheaper than a VHS rental.
And you would just pull up to the theater and just like, what's playing soon? Let's just go see, like, whatever. It's a couple bucks out of our pocket, whatever. And then you'd sit and watch a movie or whatever. So that's why so many people talk about it on this show, because it was such a great place. And I remember you and I and your girlfriend went and saw Sea of Love there. Could you tell me a single solitary tidbit on the movie Sea of Love?
I do not recall this at all. I don't.
Al Pacino. I don't know. It was a cop movie. That's all I remember. It was pretty boring, but yeah.
That sounds like we lost our $1.75
on that one. Yeah. Like I said, you just pull up and be like, "What's playing? Let's go." Whatever. Right. My buddy Chris and I would go there all the time and rewatch things. That was our big place to go rewatch something that we liked when we saw it the first time around. So we'd go and see it again a second time.
There's a sad ending to this story in that.
Yes.
And that now it's an LA Fitness.
Right.
I hope you were done with telling the
I have that
history
on my
of it.
list, but you can go there.
So
you can go there, girlfriend.
It was sad when the movie theater closed because people preferred to pay, I think, $12 for movies. So they're like, forget this cheap stuff. So that movie theater, Jumpers, just sat vacant for the last 10, 15 years.
It closed in 2005.
Okay. The last 11 years. And then I think about 2 years ago, I saw construction happening. They knocked it over. I was upset about it. Because I have some memories there. That's where I saw A Christmas Story.
Right.
In the theater. And that was full price back then. Full price. So I paid my $3.50 back then. And now it's a LA Fitness. Next to the Chick-fil-A, it's like a little supply and demand thing going on. It's smart marketing.
The Palace 9 Theater, where I grew up going all the time, is now a giant grocery store or something boring like that.
Wow, that was a big movie theater.
Yeah, the Palace. Well, I think
it is a palace.
Right? It was a palace of 9 portions. Yes. Do you remember the last movie you saw at Jumpers?
No, I didn't even remember.
I'm sorry, I have such a memory for
there was,
like this.
I just remember that I saw Christmas Story at Jumpers. That's the takeaway here.
Please just ask me that and nothing else. The last movie I saw at Jumpers was a movie called Ghost Watcher, which no one has ever heard of. That is the only movie that I both worked on and got paid on and got a credit in. So thank you very much. Go find Ghost Watcher. I'm in the audio department. I'm not actually in the movie. But my name is on the credits, and I got paid to work on it. And that is not the only movie I got paid to work on, but the only movie that I got my name in the credits. So
there you go.
Yes.
Ghost Watcher.
Ghost Watcher. It's actually a pretty tight little thriller. It's on. You can find it on Netflix if you get the DVDs on Netflix.
Yeah, because a lot of people do that.
I do, because I'm awesome. Let's move on.
He's not even joking, folks.
What? That I'm awesome? Of course not.
No.
I get the DVDs.
You use DVDs. We talked about that the other week. I was talking about digital files. You're like, I just use DVD.
No,
I was like, stop joking with me.
No, I don't. I don't do anything digital. I might rent a movie off of Amazon or something if I need to find it for the show. I've done it once, but I will track down the DVD or even a VHS if I need to. I don't do that digital crap. I like to collect things. I like to collect movies. So,
okay.
I don't.
All right. I mean, you can keep a digital file.
I know, but it doesn't look good on a shelf. I want my movie shelf.
It's a little USB stick. It'd be nice.
I got a collection of USB sticks up on the shelf.
Look at my hard drive.
So that's Jumpers Hole Mall Theater, people. Jumpers Hole Mall Theater, yes? Okay. Why is it called Jumpers Hole either?
No, that's the road, is Jumpers Hole Road. I imagine there was, I don't know the history of this, but I imagine there was like a pond where like you would jump off of a vine into.
And what did that pond look like? A hole?
Probably, yeah. Like, it's Jumpers Hole over there. Because that was all farmland back in the day, well before our time. But it was Jumpers Mall, or Jumpers Hole Mall, and then a separate building was Jumpers Cinema.
Right, yeah.
Jumpers movie theater. It was not physically connected. Now I think the LA Fitness is connected to the plaza.
So some other movies that Matt has mentioned, and one that I wanted to bring up because I've never even heard of it, Lord of War from 2005 with Nicolas Cage and Jared Leto. Tell us about Lord of War.
Lord of War is more of a serious movie. It chronicles the gun trade when Russia fell, when the Iron Curtain came down. All of Russia's armaments started being sold to Africa for all Africa's multiple civil wars that were going on. So all the guns came out of Russia and went to Africa, and Nicolas Cage is the broker of said illegal arms deals.
Would you say he's the Lord of War?
Oh, that's what like one of the African dictators like referred to him as. So it's sort of like a little play on words joke.
So is this like crazy Nicolas Cage that we all know and love, or is this a more subdued historical piece, or is it an action-y picture?
There's action. I mean, there's some gratuitous action in there, but it's more of a serious piece, and it's like a ethical thing. He's the guy who's making money off of trading arms, but there's other people that are in the game, and kind of the attitude is like, well, these people are gonna. These militaries, everyone is going to buy this stuff, whether I'm selling it to them or not. So I might as well get paid. Is kind of the thing, and it's like, well, he's the main character. Is he the bad guy or is he the good guy here? And one of the themes is like he says, I don't take sides in war. Like I'll sell weapons to both sides.
Right.
And there's the ethical dilemma in it, but I think it's more of it's historically mostly correct.
Right,
I believe he and the main character got caught because the international policing community has been looking for him for a while. He got caught, like I think 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, they've been looking for him.
Was this? You didn't see this in the theater, did you?
No, unfortunately, I didn't see it. I've only seen Christmas Story at Jumper. That's it.
It's the only movie you've ever seen, yeah. and See You Love that you don't remember. Yeah, I don't even remember this coming out, so I don't know if this went straight to DVD or just had a little tiny release, but there's something for y'all to look up, Lord of War.
A coworker suggested it for me.
Did he give it to you on a little computer stick? Or
I believe so, yeah. It was given to me. I didn't pay for this movie, so Nicolas Cage isn't he's probably broke because I'm not paying. I didn't pay for it.
He's well off enough, yeah. It's all good. Another thing we talked about, not on your list of favorite movies, but you and I are in a very small category of people who don't particularly care for the movie Goonies.
Correct. That is true. And you'll probably receive hate mail for your email. What is your email?
Oh, yeah. Well, we do have an email here, favemoviepodcast@yahoo.com. So write in and tell us why we suck because we don't like Goonies. Do you have a particular reason you don't like Goonies? Like I do? Like I have a ridiculous reason?
I was forced to watch Goonies a few years back, and I was trying to fall asleep at the time, and that doesn't work with Goonies because Goonies is just screaming the entire time. The kids yell the entire movie. It's like a little bit of dialogue, then they're screaming about something because they're startled, then it's dialogue, then it's screaming more. It's so loud.
And then Cyndi Lauper sings, and that's more screaming.
Yeah, good enough for me is good enough. Yeah, that's how it's done. Yeah,
I don't like that movie simply because, and this is the only reason I put it in here so I can tell my story. It came out. I think it came out in '85. So the year before we had Gremlins, 84, right? Which I love. Gremlins, loved the movie. Saw it. Actually, got to see it in the theater, which was very rare back then.
I have seen that in the theater.
Oh, there you go.
I think I saw it at Jumpers. Seriously.
Probably, yeah.
Now I'm bringing back old
It was
memories.
still a full-price theater then. So, so I loved Gremlins, and then they came out with, like, Ghoulies and a bunch of other, like, rip-offs, and I saw all of them. I liked anything that had, like, little puppets in it. So then I go and see Goonies, thinking that these are going to be more Gremlin-y things, and it's a bunch of kids running around screaming and yelling, and no thanks. Just never...
I mean, Goonies wasn't low budget, so there were probably trailers... that you could have seen.
Yeah, but maybe they were like, hiding what the Goonies looked like until later. Like I didn't know the Goonies were kids. I thought they were little.
There's a conspiracy?
Maybe there could be.
I don't know. Does the movie cover? Is that right? Movie cover
right? The box cover.
The box
art,
cover, the poster. Is that like a skull or something
There's
like that?
a skull, I think, in the logo, and it's like all the kids hanging from a cliff, but I don't know. There was no internet. I just know I was expecting puppets, and I got a fat kid and some other kids and a cave and Cyndi Lauper. Chunk, yes.
Yeah, yes. Chunks in it. And screaming. Got some screaming, too. You did.
So, that's what we should do maybe is just trash-loved movies, and maybe people will email the podcast. So.
What's the email address?
Like, I don't even know it. favemoviepodcast@yahoo.com. So I need to give it another look. I haven't seen it in forever.
Is that Fave, F-A-V-E?
Fave, yes. Fave, F-A-E-E, F-A-V-E, moviepodcast.com, at Yahoo. I'm screwing it up. But you got it, guys. You got it. No one's going to email it anyway, so it doesn't matter. You also mentioned a movie that you like, Adventureland, 2009.
I loved Adventureland, and I've watched that several times.
That's cool.
It's about working in a amusement park, a small amusement park, for the summer while your friends go away on their adventures in Europe or whatever.
Right.
We've all been there. Well, not all of us. Some of us, I guess, got to go away to Europe. But I've worked in several theme parks.
Yeah, jealous. Theme parks is like my second love after movies.
So I liked Adventureland for many reasons, but one of the main reasons is that I have worked in a theme park. So some of the things that happened in the movie I can really relate to, since I've worked in Houston at Astro World, which is now gone.
Right.
That's sad.
Yes.
And I've worked in Chicago at
Mid-America?
Six Flags. I think they call it
Great America or Mid-America?
No, I think it's like America or something. It's America. It's not Mid-America anymore. They changed it.
Six Flags Great America is in Gurnee, Illinois, if that helps.
Okay, that is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Gurnee. It's I call it Chicago because people would know that, but it's actually in Gurnee. That's a pretty cool park. And then I spent a summer in Jersey, in Jackson, Jersey.
Yep, Great America. Great Adventure.
Great Adventure, which is that's a very big
huge park
there.
Yeah.
So anyhow, back to the movie is what we were talking about. It has Jesse
Eisenberg, I believe.
Yeah, Jesse Eisenberg before he was in The Social Network.
Okay.
And
this was kind of his first big starring role. Like, this is where we saw him pop out.
Yeah, I guess I don't follow the
trajectory of film careers.
Yeah, it's just like I was like, oh, I saw that guy in some other
Right.
movie later. I guess he's getting paid now.
He was just in Batman vs. Superman as Lex Luthor, which is a horrible film.
He's a bad guy?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I guess
so
the one thing
I remember from Adventureland is the joke about they heard like Rock Me Amadeus 7,000 times a day while they were working.
That's good. Yes. That would be true if you worked in any part of a theme park. I just had licensing for one song, I guess.
Well, they pipe in like loops of music in different sections. So at least if you're working like in a Six Flags, you're hearing like pop music. But if you're like working at Disney or something where it's very highly themed, or you're just listening to like, future music over and over again, or the soundtrack to Snow White over and over again.
In Houston, I was stuck. I was stuck at a lemonade stand that backed up to a railroad stop.
Okay.
So the train would come in screaming its whistle,
and you would
then
throw a cup of lemonade up in the air.
And the section of the park was called the Oriental section. I guess it was the Oriental Express was the train station, but it had this themed music that was it still bothers me. It's like ding 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 ding. I don't.
I gotcha.
It's loud. It was loud.
Right.
So like you'll lose it.
Right. Yeah.
If you have to listen to that all day, that's pretty bad.
I wanted to plug what I think is the best amusement park film. Amusement parks aren't covered a lot in film. Like, they go to amusement parks in some movies, but there's not a lot of quote-unquote amusement park, theme park movies. But the best one, in my opinion, is from 1977, Roller Coaster, which you should check out with
Roller coaster.
that's not in there, unfortunately. I guess that was before
Licensing.
I think it was before the song was the movie was made before the song. But it's got George Segal and Henry Fonda, Richard Widmark in it, and Timothy Bottoms as a bomber, and he's going around and blowing up roller coasters.
This sounds like a terrorist?
Yeah.
He's blowing up?
He's blowing up roller coasters, and they filmed the beginning of it at a theme park, at an amusement park that they were actually tearing down.
Oh, really?
So
they just didn't bomb one?
No. So you actually see a roller coaster, they really exploded the coaster for the movie. And then the whole climax of the film takes place at King's Dominion, which is in nearby Virginia. So
Doswell, Virginia.
Doswell, Virginia. You know your parks, right? So that's the park I grew up going to all the time. So it's really cool to see that. But you get a ton of 1977 King's Dominion, and he puts a bomb on the Rebel Yell, and they're up in the sky ride with binoculars, trying to find them.
Was there?
Billy Idol was not there, I'm afraid. Sorry.
They didn't blow up anything in that park, did they?
No, they get him before he blows up the Rebel Yell. Yes.
Oh, so you gave it away.
Well, it's still an action-packed thrill ride of a movie, Roller Coaster, 1977.
They didn't see your air quotes, but I did.
Well,
thrill
I
ride.
appreciate
That's
good. Another movie that captures a theme park really well, but is not a good movie, is Three Ninjas High Noon at Mega Mountain, starring Hulk Hogan and Jim Varney.
That's a long title. Three Ninjas High Noon
at Mega Mountain. It's Three Ninjas 3, the third. I guess didn't make sense. Three Ninjas 3. So,
okay.
Yeah, you got it.
There's the Three Ninjas, and there's the Three Ninjas Part 2?
2 and 3 and 4, yes.
Wow, these sequels.
I've seen all 4. All right, anyway. Do you know where Adventureland was filmed? What park it was filmed at?
I feel like
you read my notes?
I can't read the notes.
That was filmed at Kennywood in Pittsburgh, which is a great park.
I was going to guess Ohio, where everything else from this show comes from.
And Three Ninjas was filmed at Elitch Gardens in Denver. There you go.
Three Ninjas 3.
Three Ninjas 3, back in training. And let's talk about Caddyshack real quick. Everyone loves Caddyshack.
Yes, Bill Murray's in that movie.
He is in that movie.
People really like Bill Murray these days a lot.
Yes.
Like, he has a cult following.
Because he crashes weddings and is crazy and wacky.
Yeah, okay. All right. But yeah, and there's a few other comedians in there of note. It's
Chevy
Chase is in
Rodney.
there. Rodney.
Has all the great lines.
Mm-hmm.
And Ted Knight is really good in it. That's his only big movie.
Is he the judge?
Yes, Judge
Smails?
Yes, that sounds
Smails.
right.
Yeah.
Danny?
Spalding?
Oh, that's a nice hat. When you get a free bowl of soup with that? Oh, it looks good on you, though.
I think you got these down.
Oh, that's a highly quotable movie, yes.
Well, yeah. I thought that was a great movie. I like The Gopher. I have a tie-in here to a concert. So
what? Oh, okay.
We were doing a Kenny Loggins concert, and they had a gopher on the stage for that song for real. Like they really embraced it.
That's awesome.
And that was like the hit song of the night, and then the other soundtrack he did for Top Gun,
right? Danger Zone.
And I realized this guy did nothing but
he did a lot of theme songs,
like movie songs. I mean, I guess that's a good way to get paid because it's going to be hits, or they're going to or it could be a flop, but they're going to push the soundtrack really hard anyhow. So it's better than putting out an entire
I think he
album.
did one, 2, or 3, kind of by coincidence, and then he was the soundtrack guy, and everybody went to him for a soundtrack song. He did the song for Caddyshack 2 also. Did you ever see that?
I think I saw it. I remember thinking it was awful.
It's not very good.
It doesn't have the entire cast, right?
Just Chevy Chase is the only recurring character, and the gopher.
Well, yeah. But Chevy Chase, he didn't get a lot of he was talented, but I don't think he got as popular as he should have or could have. He had a talk show too, right?
He did have a talk show, yeah.
That was short-lived.
Very short-lived, yes, on the Fox network. Yeah. He kind of burned out. Like you said earlier, you don't follow careers necessarily in the film industry, but he was a big star in the 80s. He had Vacation and Fletch and
Fletch was great.
Three Amigos, and he had a whole bunch of big hits in a row, and then he just did Memoirs of an Invisible Man in 91, which was not good. He kind of strayed away from what he usually did, and then it was all downhill from there very quickly, and he never really...
Yet Adam Sandler has a
6,000 movies.
He has a career.
Yes.
Playing the same role in every
Well,
movie.
that's what it is. These actors get like a persona, and then if they stray from it, like, I want to try something else. No, you can't do that. You're a funny guy.
Jim Carrey was able to do that.
Yeah.
He's done like some serious movies after his time as Fire Marshal Ted.
From
Living Color?
Bill, I think. Fire
Marshal Bill, sorry.
I don't know. He was Ace Ventura, and that's all that matters. But even Jim Carrey's not a marquee star anymore. When's the last time he had a big movie out? I think he's had enough that he doesn't need to work anymore. All right, guys. Well, I think that we are going to wrap it up here on What's Your Favorite Movie. What do you think about that?
Sounds good to me. And what was that email if they wanted to send in comments to you?
Sure, send us comments. Well, you can find me on Twitter at EdSouth or the show at WYF Movie Podcast, which we've had a spike in listeners lately with the show, but the Twitter feed has only picked up 3 subscribers. So what are you going to do? But maybe people are...
It's the Goonies fans that are holding out.
Oh, now we did it. Now we blew it.
Yep.
But I will post some pictures. I found some pictures of Jumpers Hole Mall, of like the old pictures of the theater and stuff. So we'll post those on Twitter and on our Facebook page. You can find the show on Facebook, which I know is a lot more popular than Twitter. You can even find us on Instagram if you just have nothing else to do but to find my numerous social media outlets. Matt, you don't have any social media you want to plug, do you?
I do not. No. Not really.
And if you like what you heard, guys, tell a friend. Tune in again on the first and third Wednesday of the month. We're on iTunes, Spreaker, links all over the place. You can find it. It is all good. And also, don't forget, for unique and exclusive t-shirts inspired by nostalgia, pop culture, and iconic movie themes, visit our good friends at DexShirts.com, where they have the promo code WYFmovie just for our show listeners, and you'll get 20% off your order on all kinds of really cool t-shirts. Jurassic Park, Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, you name it, they got it. And these are shirts that you're not going to find in stores. You can only find it when you get on the internet and do all that internet goodness. DexShirts.com, DEX shirts. 20% off your order when you say WYFmovie. Thanks for coming on the show today, Matt.
Thank you.
Yeah, coming up, you rode your bike up here. You're getting ready to head up the East Coast for a little motorcycle trip? A big motorcycle trip.
Well, making my way up to Boston and Connecticut today.
Nice.
And it's going to be a 5-day trip, so yeah.
Should be fun. Listen to some podcasts on the way. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next time. Matt, thank you so much. Until then, it's khaki wishes and cookie dreams.